Good morning to everyone. This is Dr. K. Naganjaneyulu. I am from CAC Department, Malad Engineering College for Women, Autonomous, Hyderabad. So today I am going to give a lecture. It belongs to the cloud computing concept. Before going to the discuss cloud computing concept, here we are having the similar computing methods are there. Those are also called various computing paradigms. Those are very close to cloud computing and similar to cloud computing. Yes, here cloud computing, what it is. Before discuss the computing and cloud, we are going to here. We are having. So based on the application, based on the services and based on the softwares, we have to divide this type of methodologies into clusters, grids and clouds. Based on the, you can, whenever you need, you can scale up, and whenever you need, you can scale down. Based on the application also, you can divide it into clusters and grids. So this is based on the scaling. And next, very similar to the cloud concept is, that is the important computing paradigm, that is nothing but distributed computing. What is distributed computing? So here in distributed computing, we can use the autonomous computers. So those are self-made systems. So they are all connected in network situation only. So here distributed computing is a method of computing in which multiple network connected computers are used to solve a computational problem. So here how you can divide the main problem into sub problems. That is the concept of distributed. How you can distribute the main problem into subcategories. So, and this concept distributed computing is introduced in the 1960s, and here the aggregation of autonomous computers, you can take the result from the individual systems and finally you can solve the problem. You can add all the results of the individuals, then you will get the result. So that is nothing but aggregation of multiple autonomous computers that communicate through a computer network. So here we will see the diagrammatical representation of the cloud, distributed computing concept. Yes, this is the diagrammatical representation of the distributed computing concept. Here in this we are having each system has its one processor and local memory and other peripheral devices what we need. We are having node along with local memory and processor, and another node along with local memory and processor. Like that, n number of systems we have to maintain along with their processors and memories and peripheral devices. They are connected to each other and they have to pass the information from one to another. That is called the communication channel. You have to send the message through from one system to another system, from one person to another person via communication channel. So here a distributed computing system is basically a collection of microprocessors that is interconnected by a communication network in which each processor has its own local memory and other peripheral devices, and the communication between two processors and two systems takes place by message passing. So that is also called communication channel. So the systems we have to connect in this process is, those systems are called loosely coupled systems. So the examples of the distributed computing concept is what the grid concept, power grid or grid computing. That is the best example of the distributed computing. And network based, how we can maintain the storage. Our servers we have to maintain in the network. So that is nothing but not physical. The network storage we have to maintain virtualization. That is also comes under distributed computing. Yes. Next. And also some other points we have to discuss in distributed computing. So the systems in distributed computing, they are distributed geographically, and wherever we have to available, these systems are every corner of the world. And here the main problem, the example is the main problem is divided into the simple tasks And here you have to solve the each task and you will get the result and for the each task, and then finally you have to aggregate the individual results, then you will get the final result. So the best example of this distributed computing is nothing but ARPANET. So this is also called predecessor of the internet, that is the previous version of the internet. So for this distributed computing and for this ARPANET, the best example is the email. This is the most successful application of the ARPANET. We can use it in distributed computing. And then before go to the cloud computing, and we are discussing the two more similar computing methods are discussed here. There is nothing but one is cluster computing and another is grid computing. So here what is cluster computing? And it is also very near to the cloud computing. And another one is grid computing. So what is cluster computing? Here you can divide the data into clusters. So what is cluster here? So in cluster, that is also called here a computer cluster is a group of loosely or tightly coupled systems. That is, it belongs to the similar kind of data. So homogeneous kinds of data we have to save in one place. So those systems are called cluster computing. So here what is actually going on? A computer cluster is a group of loosely or tightly coupled computers that work together closely so that in many respects it can be viewed as a single computer. But we can use a number of computers. So but it can be viewed as a single computer. So better performance we can give from this concept, and cost effectiveness also we can maintain. Genuinely we can maintain the cost in this concept. And what are the characteristics we will maintain from here is they are maybe loosely tightly coupled systems, and here we have to manage the job, the main task we have to manage centrally, and we have to schedule and plan centrally. So and this concept is coined in 1987 and goes to the next one, grid computing. And here the grid is another concept. It is also very near to the cloud computing and before origin of the cloud computing, and this is based on the resources what we are having. So here so many organizations based on their important protocols, they have to need some common needs. They have to maintain some resources. For that purpose we have to use this concept. So here what is grid? Grid is a collection of resources that is owned by the multiple organizations that is coordinated to allow them to solve a common problem. So here they have to solve the common problem. They are owned by the multiple organizations. They have to follow some common protocols. And here also characteristics, but what the systems you have to use in this concept, they are called only loosely coupled systems. And here also we have to manage the job or task centrally and scheduling also centrally. And it is originated in the early 1990s. So this is about cluster computing and grid computing. And next one, yes, for this grid computing, it comes the name. It is the most important concept is from the power grid. So here how the power is generated, that is nothing, the people are without knowledge, without knowing the bothering about its roles, they are just enjoying the electricity. But here how is the distribution of the electricity is going on. So that is the concept here, grid. So that is the name given to the concept grid computing to this power grid. So here the idea is electric power grid where users are able to access electricity. They have to access the electricity without bothering about their source. So that is the concept comes grid to the name grid computing. So here also just like we have to use the compare to the power grid. So in grid computing, so users they have to submit their computation without knowing their internal operations. That is the concept we used here and called it as grid computing. And harness computing power of loosely coupled computers. Harness computing power. So what is the meaning of harness? Yes, unused power. So here most of the mobile powers are unused. But how we can hunting unused resources? So that is called here we can use the heterogeneous, different kinds of systems also you can use it to solve the grid computing concepts. So here 3 persons are there. Ian Foster, Carl Kesselman and Steve Tuck are the fathers of the grid computing. And so the cloud computing, it is nothing but, it is also called utility computing. Yes, we will discuss the fundamentals of the cloud computing, and the next session we will discuss the important concepts of the cloud computing, and that is nothing but what are the services we are having, what are the deployment models we are having, that is also what are the characteristics of the cloud computing we will discuss in the next session. So it is very nice session. Thank you.